Hi everyone, this is Sharon Badayos, and today's topic I am going to discuss about the remedial vocabulary instruction. So, let's start.
Okay, so vocabulary is initially acquired in four ways. Incidentally, through reading and conversation. Basically, we learn new words through reading certain types of books or having a conversation with friends. And then through direct instruction, as when a teacher or auto-instructional program is used to intentionally build vocabulary power. So, a teacher can also help build vocabulary power of the students. He or she could encourage wide reading to the learners, or a teacher could teach word meaning directly. So, third is through self instruction, as when words are looked up in a dictionary or their meaning are sought from others in a conscious manner. Obviously, when we are curious about something, we tend to search for it or Google it from the internet and then find the meaning. And lastly is through mental manipulation while thinking, speaking, and writing. So considerations in remedial vocabulary instruction. Connect vocabulary instruction to the natural processes of word learning. The literature on vocabulary acquisition tends to divide the teaching of vocabulary into five phases. These are disposition or opening the student's mind and will to engage new words. And then letter B is integration, establishing ties between the meaning of a new word and the student's existing knowledge, or combine the meaning of a new concept into the student's existing knowledge. And then C is for the repetition, provisions for practice distributed over time, as well as opportunities for frequent encounters with the word in similar and differing contexts. Ika nga nila, the more you read, the more vocabulary you learn. So, as students, we have to read until we internalize the meaning and fully understood the word. Kay dili man good pwede nga basta kay nakabasa ka ng a word, okay na. No. You have to read it over and over again. And then letter D, interaction and meaningful use. Social situations conducive to using new words in interactions with others and thus mentally referencing new words in listening, reading, writing, and speaking. There are instances man good nga, although we already know the meaning of the word but we can't use it in a correct grammar. So letter E is self-instruction, maintaining an awareness of new words outside the classroom. Okay, so as students, we should not depend on the knowledge that we learn from school. We should not limit ourselves and then let us educate ourselves, learning new words even outside the classroom. So two is concept-based approach to vocabulary building. Identify the relevant and irrelevant features of the concept you wish to teach. For example, is the relevant attribute or feature of the concept of sphere, that it is three-dimensional and round in all directions. It is not a circle, as in a two-dimensional picture, and it is not simply a three-dimensional circle like a car tire. Letter B, provide examples of the concept. So for example is show a classroom globe and then pointing out that the globe is a more perfect sphere than the actual Earth. And then letter C is provide examples of irrelevant but loosely related concepts with which it might be compared, such as drawing of a two-dimensional circle and a three-dimensional tire. Letter D is relate the concept by some possible smaller or subordinating concepts, such as a ball, an egg, or the moon. Letter E. Relate or categorize the concept by some possible larger or superordinating concepts, such as spherical objects and stars, which are not really star-shaped, but only appear that way due to the effect of viewing them through an atmosphere that causes them to appear to twinkle. And then lastly is relate or categorize the concept alongside equal or coordinating terms, such as the other planets. So third approach is subjective approach to vocabulary or the SAV or SAV. So first, identify 2 to 4 words to be taught or pre-taught if SAV is used as a pre-reading activity. So if a word list is used, be sure to include as many words as possible that impart concepts and feelings that you would wish the students to learn. And then letter B, the teacher tells the student the full meaning of a word much as it might be found in a dictionary. So letter C, the teacher asks the students, what does this word remind you of? Or what do you picture or think of when you hear this word? So basically, the teacher will call random students and then use the new concept that they have learned and then use it in a sentence. So letter D is the teacher talks to the student through this personal search for meaning by asking further clarifying questions and in group situation by pointing out those images suggested that seem most vivid. The teacher may add his or her own images. Students are then directed to write some subjective or personal associations for the new word under the previously written dictionary definition in their journals. And also, drawings can be added. And then letter E, silent reading follows next when SAV is used as pre-reading vocabulary development. When it is being used for general vocabulary development, students are given 5 to 10 minutes to study and rehearse the new and previously recorded words. So last is the teacher let the student close the word study journal and asked him or her the meanings of the words studied that day and a few others from previous days. This step can be tied to sit exercises in conventional workbooks or worksheets such as crossword puzzles, category games, and etc. This manipulation and reinforcement step can be made easier by selecting the words to be taught from the exercise material. Number 4 is motor imaging. It appears that even the highest forms of vocabulary and concept learning have psychomotor foundations or equivalents. Hence, motor movements associated with certain stimuli can become interiorized as a symbolic meaning. There are 3 considerable advantages to knowing this where remediation is concerned. First, since physical, sensory, or proprioceptive learning can be interiorized, they also can be self-stimulating, and as such, they are easier to rehearse and recall with the slightest mental reminder as well as from external stimulation. So, uh, those knowledge that they have already interiorized, um, for those fast learners, they are the ones who easily recall or rehearse the meaning even with just a slight mental reminder. Letter B. Second, proprioceptive learning is so basic to human learning that it is common to all learners, fast and slow, and hence ideal for heterogeneously group classes. Uh, Ideally speaking, proprioceptive learning is common to all learners. That's why it is ideal for heterogeneously grouped classes whereby diverse students, for example, students that have learning disabilities and students who are gifted are placed in different classrooms so that they can apply their skills and abilities at their own comfort. So, third is the act of identifying and acting out a word becomes a life experience in itself with the word. A value that Frederick Mayer in Manzo and Manzo 1993 demonstrated when he successfully taught youngsters words via the experiential approach.